My name is Sky Sedwick. My father was John Christopher Sedwick, and due to the ongoing negligence and culture of greed of PG&E, my father is dead. You may think that at his age of 82 caused fragility and that contributed to his death. That's not the case. My father was not the stereotypical 82-year-old. He still worked full-time, 32 hours a week. He planned on retiring in December of 2018. Sadly, my father never got to enjoy retirement. My father also taught Sunday school and was a dossier at the Gold Nugget Museum. He was a musician that played every Saturday at the Senior Center in Oroville. He held that gig for 20 plus years. And I can assure you that to many of the seniors that attended Saturday mornings, the music died with my father. Since that was an unpaid gig, it has not been filled since. My father was in the process of writing a book. He called it his legacy. He spent countless hours researching, reciting chapters to whoever would listen, and dictating the script into his computer. Every page of that book, the computer and the author perished that November day. His legacy up in smoke. This continues to break my heart. Because of the passion he had for that book. I know he regrets not finishing it. And I wish I could do it for him. But the subject matter is not anywhere near my area of expertise. So the story remains untold. My father was the type of person to stop for any disabled vehicle along the side of the road and ask the driver if they needed his assistance. He filled jugs up of water and placed them on the side of the road of Skyway in the summer months in case a vehicle was overheating going up the hill. He flashed his headlights at drivers that did not have their headlights on religiously at dusk or during inclement weather. He followed and chastised any driver or passenger if he witnessed a lit cigarette tossed from a vehicle. I assure you, if you received that lecture, you would never throw a cigarette out of a vehicle again. His years as a volunteer firefighter, coupled with living on the bridge during wildfires, made him an authority on the matter of fire and safety. Had my father worked for PG&E, the culture would have changed, or he would have done all he could to see to that change, or he would have left. He would not have ever allowed his name to be associated with a culture that devalues human life and destroys the land and trees he loved so much. I say this because it is my hope that as PG&E moves forward, that they hire employees like my father. When I think about how many people did not do their job properly, or how greedy the company was to not replace the equipment that caused this fire, it sickens me. How many failed opportunities to prevent this tragedy? It is this culture of apathy, neglect, and greed that has become synonymous with PG&E, and I wonder what will it take for that to change. How many more have to die? If I were to speak to PG&E, I would implore them today to do all that it is in their power to change that culture. It's true that this company will serve no prison time, and it's impossible to truly hold the people responsible for the oversight and neglect of PG&E's equipment. However, unless you sit before me today without a conscience, if you do not change that culture and more die as a result, then their blood is on your hands. And there is a court bigger than this. You can call that court karma or judgment day or whatever you subscribe to. Maybe it will be a guilty conscience, again, provided you have one. To know you could have prevented the music from dying, or a man's legacy going up in smoke, or robbing a man of his retirement, or creating a void in a family that can never be filled because their father, their grandfather, their uncle, or brother died trying to save his home from fire. You see, my father fought that fire all day long. He called me at 10:30 at night, and he told me that he was okay, that he and the house were okay, but everything else was gone. That meant our barn and all our vehicles. I was so happy to hear from him. It wasn't until the fire came across the canyon for the second time that my exhausted from working alongside of firemen all day, and that's when he perished in the flames. I lived with my father, and I could never imagine losing so much in one day. All my worldly belongings, my home, and my father gone. As I mourned my father, I longed for a shred of clothing, something that was his, that I could hold, smell, and there was nothing. I can't express here today how much he is missed by so many. He was a bit eccentric and certainly marched to the beat of his own drum, but I assure you it was a beat I can only aspire to march to. I hope and pray his legacy didn't entirely burn that day, but instead it shifted and became a legacy of compassion and safety in a world that lacks both. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sedwick.